Okay, so this is really weird. The Jags are playing back-to-back games in London this season. Week 4, they got the Falcons at Wembley, and Week 5, they got the Bills at Tottenham. I mean, they're just going to stay out there for 2 weeks then, right? They're not going to come back to practice and then fly back out there. That wouldn't make any sense. It's actually pretty cool. It's going to kind of feel like the NFL has a London team for, a brief period. Trevor Lawrence actually has a golden opportunity here to become the quarterback of London, but that would actually involve him defeating the Bills, and I can't have that. So, sorry, Trevor, but it's cool that you're going to be there for 2 weeks. Anyway, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video and happy Wednesday. In today's video, I'm going to be going back on Twitter and I'm going to be reacting to your guys' NFL stat predictions. Much like the other videos, I made a tweet last night just asking you guys to give me a specific player or a couple players that you guys are going to predict the stats for, and I'll maybe react to them. Real quick before we hop into the video, as always, we got to run through the plug. So use code WyattzWorld on gfuel.com or Prize Picks to either save yourself a discount or match up to $100 of your first deposit. Also, guys, I know it's getting down there, but it's never too late. Hit the link in my bio if you're trying to find your mom an awesome Mother's Day gift. Parentpresents.com will show you the ultimate Mother's Day gift guide of 2023. That's all I got for today, though. Let's hop into the video. Alright, everybody, so here was the tweet of me asking you guys to throw down some stat predictions, and I got about 500 replies again, so let's get into it. Twisted Tree says Mac Jones will have 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 67% completion, go 9-8, and miss the playoffs. Honestly, I don't really see a single thing about this that is unrealistic, so yeah. Roman still reigns. Okay. He says Mike Evans, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. You're a safe kind of better, aren't you? Here's one from Marka Barca. Brandon Ayuk, 1,300 receiving yards in 9 touchdowns. I hope so. Honestly, to me, Brandon Ayuk's always been super underrated. He's always been a very, very good wide receiver, but he's been outshined by not only Kittle, but Debo. Now he's got McCaffrey to battle against too, for stardom. And reps. I mean, there's just a lot of talent to go around. Tiger Take says Jared Goff will throw for 4,500 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 8 picks. Okay. David Montgomery will have 1,110 rushing yards, 5 yards a carry, and 9 touchdowns. That's a little nuts. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown will have 1,300 receiving yards, 105 catches, and 10 touchdowns. I think he'll get the receptions. I just think the yardage and touchdowns a little bit high. Eli Apple's Burner says Jamar Chase, 1,900 receiving yards, 15 touchdowns, 96 receptions, offensive player of the year. For one, that many yards will not happen considering T. Higgins is going to get a lot. And two, I'm not a math genius, but it just seems like 1,900 out of 96 receptions, that would be like insane. I disagree. Andrew says Justin Fields finishes as a top 3 fantasy football quarterback. Absolutely, 100%. Leads Bears to the playoffs. Okay. Fields finishes top 3 in MVP vote. Okay, you're fucking nuts, Andrew. Andy Davies says Stephon Diggs under 1,000 receiving yards. Boy, I hope not. You think he's gonna get hurt or he's just gonna suck? I'm just curious what makes you think this. Here's one from Loki. He says Trey Lance has 3,800 yards, 37 touchdowns, 6 picks, 500 rushing yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns. Good God. I think for a guy who's barely gotten to touch the field, you're shooting a little high. This guy says Jordan Love's gonna have 30 touchdowns and 5 to 7 picks. I'd be pissed. Zach, I think is how you pronounce this. He says Derek Carr, 3,500 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and also have 170 rushing yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. I don't think he'll have that much rushing, and I think he'll throw for a ton more. I think Derek Carr is gonna have probably around 5,000 passing yards and mid-30 touchdowns. They're gonna be down a lot because their coach sucks, and he can throw, and he's got a lot of weapons there. Matt says Garrett Wilson, 1,400 yards and 8 touchdowns. Shut up, Matt! I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it's possible, but I have a feeling Allen Lazard is going to get a lot of action there. I mean, he's obviously there to play with Rodgers. That was part of their plan together. Not saying Wilson won't be the leading receiver there because he definitely should be. I just think Lazard will take a little bit away from him. Trey says Anthony Richardson, 3,200 passing yards, 850 rushing yards, 25 passing touchdowns, 14 picks, and a 59.5 completion percentage. Colts also go 7-10 for a rookie quarterback, especially Anthony Richardson. That's pretty fair. Here's one from Eli. He says Russell Wilson, 3,800 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns, 12 picks. I agree, although I think he'll throw for more. He'll be up in the 4,000s. And then Jerry Jeudy we've got for 85 catches, 1,250 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I hope so, man. I think that's a very good prediction. Ubi says Derrick Henry getting 2K again. If he doesn't get hurt, yeah, because he's gonna be the only thing there that actually works. Here's one for Bijan Robinson, 1,257 rushing yards, 427 receiving yards, 11 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns. I don't see why that couldn't happen. I mean, it would just mean that Algier is basically out of the equation, which kind of stinks, but obviously they drafted Bijan to be that guy, so it's a little high maybe, but definitely not impossible. Baker Mayfield, 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns. What the hell? Maybe 4,000 yards, not 35 touchdowns if you're asking me. I would guess maybe 28, 29 on the high end. Jonah says Justin Herbert will lead the league in passing while Josh will barely beat Noah Sin passing touchdowns. I think that was the worst attempt at trash talking I've ever heard, Jonah. Garen Roberts says Najee Harris, 110 carries for 935 yards, 45 catches, 432 receiving yards, and 13 touchdowns. You think he's gonna average 8.5 yards a carry? Vince Fan for Life says Tua plays 17 games, hits 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 100 plus passer rating. All 17 games, I agree with you, unfortunately, but I agree. Anyway, now Caden's got us a Trevor Lawrence prediction, 4,765 passing yards, 37 touchdown, 9 picks, and wins the MVP. Would that be enough to win the MVP though? That's the question. I think he's capable of doing this stat-wise. Here's one from Bruh. Says Justin Herbert, 5,248 passing yards, 34 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns in the MVP. I just don't think, again, that would be enough to do it. That's a lot of passing yards, but only 34 touchdowns out of 5,200 passing yards. Like, that's not gonna win the MVP. Chris Moves Burner says he's expecting a huge season from Lamar, somewhere around 4,000 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, 8 picks, 900 rushing yards, and 8 rushing touchdowns. Hey, he's done it before. Talking Big Blue says the Jets go far in the postseason and Aaron Rodgers wins MVP? What the hell kind of Giants fan are you? Kenny Pickett lover, George Pickens, 1,137 receiving yards. Yeah, okay. Sean Salt says Ramondre Stevenson leads all running backs in all-purpose yards. That's a good take, man. It's not one that a lot of people would think is actually gonna hit, but it's one that could. Kyle Hamilton season says J.K. Dobbins, 250 rushes for 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. I mean, he could do it if he just stays healthy. I believe in him. Hidden Danger says Treylon Burks will have 1,200 yards and 4 to 7 touchdowns if he's consistently healthy. I agree, and he also has to have a consistent quarterback though, but Treylon Burks has a lot of talent in him. I think that, honestly, he has a ceiling that we still don't really know the height to. Logan Burr says Christian Watson will have 1,150 yards, 11 receiving touchdowns, 200 rushing yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns? What the world? No, I don't agree with that, Logan. Optimistic Saints fan says WyattzWorld throws for 6,000 yards, 80 touchdowns, no picks, 10,000 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdowns. Amen, brother. Here's one from Tristan that says Dak will throw less than 10 picks this year while having 35 or more passing touchdowns and 4,000 or more passing yards. I mean, that would sure shut the Dak haters up, wouldn't it? Kinda hope it happens because he's not that fucking bad. All right, here's another rapid fire from Spider. Nick Chubb, 1,525 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns. More, he's gonna have around 4,000. Joe Burrow, 4,975 passing yards and 41 touchdowns. Unfortunately, that's realistic. Josh Allen, 4,400 passing yards and 34 touchdowns. Unfortunately, I believe you're a Josh Allen hater. I just don't know why he has so much less than Joe Burrow. George Kittle, 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. If he doesn't get hurt, he'll do it, or has a shot to do it. Bryce Young, 3,500 yards and 27 touchdowns. I mean, for a rookie, that's pretty good, but not impossible. And Geno, 4,300 passing yards and 39 touchdowns. Yardage, he basically hit that last year. Again, touchdowns, that's a bit high for me. Mishi says Mahomes will throw 8 touchdowns in a game against the Raiders. All right. And then we got one from Max saying Devontae Smith, 98 catches, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. Was close to that this season, so only assume he improves. Max, I think that's very realistic. All right, now that I've got you guys where I want you, I want to go over an announcement with you. I have now signed a partnership with Waggle Golf. That's where I get all my awesome hats from, and that's where you guys can now get yours, and you can even use code Wyatt10 to save yourself a discount. But I just want to say, guys, this isn't a plug that I need to sit here and hammer into your head every day, so don't think that I'm gonna have like a huge pre-roll of just plug. They're totally cool with me plugging whenever I want, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and keep it organic, but I do want to announce it with you guys because I'm super excited about it. I really like this company and it's an awesome opportunity for me. However, that is where I'm going to end it for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this Twitter video. Not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow, probably a franchise, but also kind of want to get back on the PS2 game, so we'll see. Anyway, show any support to this video. You guys know I appreciate it. With everything I just said, I'm going to hop off and get this edited so you can watch it on time. Enjoy the rest of your week, and as always, I will see you in the next video.